Douglas MacArthur, the General of Controversy. Douglas MacArthur, one of the most famous generals in U.S. history, has always been a polarizing figure. Known for his pivotal role in the Pacific Theater during World War II, his influence extended far beyond the battlefield. MacArthur's life was marked by decisions, alliances, and events that shocked the world. From his privileged childhood to his contentious conflicts with U.S. presidents, here are 10 scandalous and shocking facts about the life of Douglas MacArthur. Fact number 1. A privileged start, childhood, youth, and personal life. Douglas MacArthur was born on January 26, 1880, at the Little Rock Barracks in Arkansas, into a family that epitomized military tradition. His father, Lieutenant General Arthur MacArthur Jr., was a celebrated Civil War hero, having earned the Medal of Honor for his bravery at Missionary Ridge during the Battle of Chattanooga. This prestigious lineage meant that young Douglas grew up under immense expectations. His mother, Mary Pinckney Hardy MacArthur, was a formidable figure who shaped his character and ambitions. In 1899, he entered the U.S. Military Academy at West Point, where his academic excellence and discipline led him to graduate first in his class in 1903, with a record-breaking score of 98.14, one of the highest ever. MacArthur's personal life was equally complex. His first marriage to socialite Henriette Louise Cromwell Brooks ended in 1929, marked by strains due to his demanding career. Later, he found lasting companionship with Jean Marie Faircloth, whom he married in 1937 in New York. They had one son, Arthur MacArthur IV, who maintained a quiet life, steering clear of the public eye, unlike his father. These experiences of discipline, ambition, and personal sacrifice became the bedrock of MacArthur's storied career. Number 2. The American Caesar, MacArthur's ego and public image. Douglas MacArthur was famously labeled the American Caesar due to his grandiose self-image and theatrical approach to leadership. Known for his iconic corncob pipe and aviator sunglasses, MacArthur crafted an image of resilience and invincibility, often posing dramatically in photographs meant to project power. His self-assured, sometimes arrogant demeanor did not sit well with his peers. He thought he was the only one who mattered, one former officer said, reflecting a common sentiment. President Harry Truman was particularly critical of MacArthur's attitude, famously saying he acted as if he were above the president himself. This bold persona drew public admiration and disdain, ultimately leading to his highly publicized dismissal in 1951. MacArthur's legacy as the American Caesar underscores the paradox of his career, a general whose brilliance was matched by his own self-destructive pride. Number 3. A general at war with presidents, the Truman-MacArthur conflict. The most notorious conflict in MacArthur's career was with President Harry Truman during the Korean War. MacArthur's aggressive stance on advancing into North Korea and even advocating for the use of nuclear weapons conflicted sharply with Truman's caution. In April 1951, Truman dismissed MacArthur for insubordination, a decision that sent shockwaves through the U.S. "I could no longer tolerate his insubordination," Truman stated, underscoring the depth of their disagreements. MacArthur returned to the U.S. to a hero's welcome, with many Americans seeing him as a martyr for a more aggressive approach to communism, a stark contrast to Truman's more restrained foreign policy. One of the most extreme rumors about MacArthur is that he was allegedly approached by Wall Street financiers and industrialists in the 1930s to support a coup against President Franklin D. Roosevelt. This plot, often referred to as the business plot, allegedly sought to overthrow FDR's administration in favor of a fascist-like regime. Although the validity of this plot remains contested, the idea that MacArthur might have been involved in such plans fueled suspicions of his intentions and loyalty. Number 4. An advocate for nuclear warfare in Asia. MacArthur's military doctrine was unyieldingly aggressive, and nowhere was this clearer than in his support for nuclear warfare in Korea. In 1951, he proposed a plan to use up to 30 atomic bombs to create a radioactive belt across the Korean peninsula to deter Chinese forces, a plan the Truman administration found terrifyingly extreme. MacArthur even suggested dispersing nuclear fallout to block Chinese advances, reflecting his belief in total warfare. The rejection of his plan became a watershed moment in U.S. military strategy, illustrating the deep concerns over MacArthur's approach and prompting questions about his judgment and commitment to global stability. Number 5. I Shall Return, the Philippines and a Controversial Promise. MacArthur's famous promise to return to the Philippines during World War II solidified his reputation as a hero to the Filipino people, but it was not without controversy. His dramatic escape from the Philippines in 1942, leaving his troops behind, was criticized by some as self-preserving. Although he fulfilled his promise and led the liberation of the Philippines, some questioned whether his actions were motivated more by personal glory than genuine dedication to his men. Despite the criticism, his famous words, "I shall return," became legendary, symbolizing resilience and national pride. Number 6. Allegations of war crimes cover-up. MacArthur's tenure in the Pacific Theater was marred by allegations that he covered up war crimes committed by Allied forces. Reports surfaced that he sometimes ignored incidents of mistreatment of prisoners of war and civilians by Allied soldiers. Historians argue that MacArthur, focused on securing victory, might have condoned such actions to avoid disrupting military morale and operations. Although there is no definitive evidence proving MacArthur's direct involvement, these accusations have left a dark shadow over his command, revealing the moral compromises that occasionally marked his pursuit of strategic success. Number 7. The dictator's ally, MacArthur and Japan's Emperor Hirohito. MacArthur's approach to post-war Japan was unique. Instead of prosecuting Emperor Hirohito as a war criminal, MacArthur saw him as a stabilizing figure and shielded him from prosecution. This decision, while credited with helping to rebuild Japan's social structure, was controversial and viewed by some as a betrayal of justice. MacArthur's relationship with Hirohito was complex, blending diplomacy with pragmatism. He ensured that the emperor retained his status, albeit symbolically, a move that had lasting impacts on Japanese society. Number 8. The Spy Scandal, MacArthur's Secret Communications. During the Korean War, MacArthur was suspected of communicating covertly with members of the Chinese nationalist government in Taiwan, allegedly bypassing U.S. channels. This unauthorized contact raised serious concerns about his loyalty and respect for chain of command. Some feared he might be pursuing his own agenda in Asia, independent of official U.S. policy. This secrecy fueled the perception of MacArthur as a rogue general, leading many to question the extent of his ambitions and his commitment to democratic principles. Number 9. Financial misconduct and public scrutiny. MacArthur's career also faced scrutiny over financial dealings, notably his acceptance of a large sum from the Philippine government. In 1942, he received $500,000, roughly $8.5 million today, as a token of gratitude, a payment viewed by some as unethical given his official role. While he argued it was a gift, critics saw it as a conflict of interest, accusing him of blurring the line between personal gain and military duty. This incident cast a lasting stain on his legacy, raising questions about his moral integrity beyond the battlefield. Number 10. A divisive legacy, Old Soldiers Never Die speech. After his dismissal by President Truman, Douglas MacArthur delivered a farewell address to Congress on April 19, 1951, where he famously stated, "Old soldiers never die, they just fade away." This speech was both a poignant farewell and a reflection of his dedication to military service. MacArthur's words stirred mixed emotions across the nation, with some viewing it as a patriotic exit, while others saw it as self-aggrandizing. After his years in the public eye, MacArthur spent his later life more quietly. He passed away on April 5, 1964, at the age of 84, due to biliary cirrhosis, a liver disease. His death marked the end of an era, leaving behind a legacy of courage, controversy, and an enduring impact on American military history.